Well, hello, everybody. It is Wednesday, and it is 4 o'clock. And as you can see, Vikings News countdown to 50. That's right. You see, it's episode 49, but we're closing in. And it's kind of a great day. Oh, yeah. So here, it's one of those days. It's another one of those busy days. It's a vote for Pedro day. It's, it's a voting year, right? It's an election year. So vote for Pedro. Might not be any better choices. Who knows? Don't write my name down. Yeah. So what a great weekend I had. It's great to be back. It's great to be back home. It's great to be working on the house and getting some more things done. I don't know if anybody else is out there doing any remodeling, but man, I've needed lots of music to get me through that. And what I started doing yesterday was a deep dive into Dream Theater once again. Dream Theater is a band that I was fortunate enough to get into right away when I started. When they put out When Dream and Day Unite, I was talking with all the different reps here in the area, and Jim Cowan was the rep for MCA Records. So he would, I'd go over and see him periodically at his office. He was down there on Olive, and not too far from here, actually. And I would pop in the office, and he'd have his shelf full of all kinds of new stuff, which included, back in that time frame, it included the first solo Tom Petty record, which was fantastic. And then it also, The Who, It's Hard, was he had that on the shelf, and When Dream and Day Unite by Dream Theater, and a bunch of other ones as well. I think, did he still handle any of, I don't know if the Fix were releasing anything at that time on that label still, because they put out their Walkabout album with Secret Separation when I was working on the radio in '86. So great band. That's one of the things I'll be putting up here soon. I had my box upstairs to take with me on my trip, because I knew I might be hanging out here and there. And while I was talking with some folks in my family, we had a little family reunion. And so I thought maybe while I was doing that, I could show them a few pictures and organize them a little bit. Got to put them in alphabetical order so I can scan them in and show them to you guys. And then I can do some, little short time things. So yeah, getting ready for 50 episodes next week. And this year I'm getting ready for my 60th birthday. Pretty cool. I think we're going to be hanging out at Two Plumbers whenever we get that figured out. So should be a good time. And we'll be playing video games the whole time. So it's kind of cool. If you haven't been to Two Plumbers before, it moved. It's out in the St. Peter's area, and it's off of First Capital, I believe. And used to be on the north side, but now it's on the south side in a bigger building. They have 2 floors and video games downstairs, video games upstairs. But it's also a bar. It's a brewery, so you can go in and do that. They have food there as well. So it's pretty cool. But if you want, you can rent out their space upstairs and bring in your own food and invite friends and family and hang out and play video games. They got a whole array of different stuff, including stuff that isn't necessarily video games, but it is arcade stuff. So I should probably say that. It's arcade stuff, because they have the tabletop hockey game. I love that. Love playing that game. So good place, Two Plumbers out in St. Peters, Missouri. So what I was thinking about today, there's a few things to talk about. We on Thursday, let me see if I can get some of these in here. It's like I told you, it's a busy time around here, and I'm just trying to get everything done. And it also means that sometimes right at the last second, I'm finishing some things up. But here's the cool part. I can keep yapping. but we had tickets to go. Oh, for crying out loud! I hate bugs. Um, we had tickets to go see Barry Manilow. How about that? Yeah, your resident rocker going to see a Barry Manilow show. Um, let's see if we can close this here. And so I was looking forward to that. I grew up listening to Barry Manilow. Of course, as he said, the 70s was a great time for music, he said. There was some great songs back then. And he said, because most of them were mine. So he did have a lot of hits back in the day. And so it was something where I would buy my dad a Barry Manilow record almost every year. He'd come out with it. And some albums that he put out had more hits on them than others. Some of them included songs that ended up in movies, which he mentioned Foul Play the other night. And Ready to Take a Chance was in that movie. I watched that not too long ago. And here's the funny part is that I was watching, I picked out a couple of movies that were in that same time frame, just was in that late 70s action and comedy films. And one of those movies that was kind of an action comedy was Foul Play. But one of those movies that had plenty of action in that time frame was The Warriors. And so I picked both those movies. And as I'm watching The Warriors, here they're running from another gang and they're going into a subway station. And they run up the stairs and past a little area there where they had movie posters in the subway. And one of them is Foul Play. I about flipped out. I was like, I'm going to be watching that. So let me see if I can get some of these in. I have to start working with these videos though, because there's a lot of them. I can't you can't just drop them in, unfortunately. Let's see if we can get some of these in for an overlay. So not only that, it was a crazy night on that Thursday. Some of these Barry Manilow shots, when you're a little far away, it's not the best for photographs, but especially with your phone. If I have a nice 35 millimeter camera with a nice zoom lens on it that I need to learn how to use, and it takes film, and I have a bunch of film, so I need to talk to my friend and say, this film was pretty well preserved as it is. Do you think I can use it? And see what he says. So you see, I got my KISS banner up today. You see that? That's a Destroyer, 35 years. Came with one of my packages not long ago. All right, so let's take a look here. Here's my outfit for the night. That's it. There you go. I had to go with Live After Death. Now here's the funny part is okay. So I found out at the last minute that I couldn't make it to the Lynch Mob show, which was out at Diamond Music Hall, right? So I couldn't make the show. So I told Jaron that I wasn't going to be able to make it. Then later I thought, you know what? Barry's going to be done early. So that's kind of the beauty of some of these shows with these older acts is that some of them don't have a major opener. He had a comedian opener, and I'll show you that here in a second. But and I'll make a comment on that here in a minute. But I knew it'd be done early, and sure enough, we were on the highway and headed home by 9:55. So I told Jaron, I said, "Look, I'll tell you what time?" He said, "We go on at 10." I said, "I'll tell you what, I can leave that concert, drop off my wife, and I'll head on out and see you guys finish the show." And I did. So there you go, Barry on stage. And then before the show, of course, we had to take a quick picture with the video screens that were up around the auditorium. And you can see here, there's the comedian that opened up. He did some, I would say, part of his shtick was talking about old songs, and he'd play some songs, but then he'd do like, I don't want to say the Weird Al thing, but that's what he would do. He changed the lyrics around and had funny lyrics. But all in all, he was from Vegas. All in all, here's my thing. I said later, as Barry made a big quip during his show, and I just laughed my ass off because it was one of those jokes where I'm like, I see it coming and it's funny, genuinely funny, and I just start laughing ahead of time, and I'm like, it's tough when your your main act comes up with a joke in the midst of his gig that's funnier than the opening act. So that's the way it goes. So he had three background singers back there and a fantastic band. The band was killer, and he thanked them profusely. There's a kind of a close up. There should be some better shots, though. I don't know, maybe not. I tried. They all looked really good, when I was looking at them on my phone. But yeah, there you go. There's the three singers he had. They did a great job, man. They sounded awesome. Here's a little clip with, you can see Clive Davis, who I actually mentioned to my wife during the concert, because we were talking about, he went into talking about how he did jingles and how he got started. And then here he was, they were talking about how he got started, and there he is on the Midnight Special. And Clive Davis, appears, they talk about him in an Aerosmith song, No Surprise. They mentioned Clive Davis. And so anyway, so there you go with Clive Davis and Mac Davis. How weird is that? Didn't even think about that until just now. And then here you go. This was at the end when he did his big Copacabana deal. I thought that was a gorgeous set. I thought they did a great job. And there he is. I was wondering if he was going to get into a special outfit for that, and he did. The funny thing was, he was talking about, I don't know if this is the same keyboard or not, on stage, next off to the left there, but he was talking about when they put it out there for him to use. He's like, it's moving if you can put something underneath it so that it'll stop moving. But yeah, he had some good, he moved around, just did a great show. I'm glad I hadn't seen him before. I'm glad this was my first time seeing him, because I have a feeling that, all this was special to me. All this was nostalgic. It was really cool. And I don't know if it would have been so much that way if I'd have already seen the show, because I'm kind of that guy that's like, okay, I've seen this, I don't need to see a bunch of this again, Jaron was awesome enough. You know what? And I can show it to you this way. This is very rudimentary. Okay. I'm just going to do it this way. It looks like crap, but check this out.
Action. What's up, guys? This is Jaron Galino with Lynch Mob, and I'm hanging with Viking Stu on the Hammer Away show.
There you go, folks. How about that? So, so the Lynch Mob show was still going strong when I got there. Like I say, they started at 10 o'clock, and they were killing it when I got there, man. They were really firing through everything. And I was reminded beforehand that Jimmy DeAnda is drumming for them now. So it was really exciting for me on that. And let's see if what we've got here. There you go. There's George there. I got some relatively good shots to George across on the other side of the stage. There you go. There's Jaron on bass and Jimmy DeAnda on drums. Jimmy DeAnda, of course, folks, if you don't remember, he was the drummer for the Bullet Boys, and back in the days. And when I did an interview, I had an interview with Cinderella on a Sunday afternoon, because they had that Cinderella, Winger, and Bullet Boys tour going on back in '89 in support of Long Cold Winter. And Jimmy DeAnda and Lonnie Vincent sat down with me and my wife and my brother, and we did a quick impromptu interview right there in their hotel in the lobby. And then as we were chatting, then Kip Winger came out of the elevator. So there's another one of George there. They were smoking it. I'm telling you, man, they were killing it big time. There's Jaron. I met Jaron, of course, as I've mentioned. I met him when he was with Tantric a couple of years ago. And that's also where I met my buddy Ron, who's actually upstairs. And we're doing work around the house. We're doing some remodeling, but I had things to do on the computer. There's Jimmy. Look at that. Now, this dude's like my age, right? So he's looking good and sharp, man, for being my age, right around my age there, man. Man, was he all over it. We kept connecting. He'd look, I was just right off, as you can see, I was just right off the stage. This is the Diamond Music Hall, also out in St. Peter's. And many, many great bands have played there. I used to play there, which is a point after I'd shown you that video there of Jaron back in the green room doing the bumper for me. So it's a great place. So I'd stand off the side and I yelled out at him between songs, and he finally we caught eyes, and it was great. I haven't seen him ever since then. I mean, it's been that many years ago, and I'm having trouble finding my photo of he and I from the show here in St. Louis. But yeah, but man, he had some great timings, some great fills, some alternate things that he'd drop in on rhythm. It was fantastic. Fantastic. There we are with Jaron after the show. Here's the set list. Lightning Strikes. Then you have River of Love, and let's see. I'm losing some of the Hellchild. What is that one? Nature's Child. Is that what that is? And then, the Dogs. We had Music Master, Sinner. Paris is Burning. I think they were finishing Sinner and went into Paris is Burning when I got there. And then they did then you can see down here, they did Mr. Scary. They did Million Years. That was awesome. They did a jam after they did Paris. That's what the slow drag is. So they did the Paris is Burning, and then they did a jam. Then they did Million Years for a Million Years. And then they did Mr. Scary. Now, when they did Mr. Scary, and then you can see they did It's Not Love and Wicked Sensation. When they did Mr. Scary, it was awesome, because if you haven't checked them out yet, do it. Paralandra was the opening act. I was hoping to, last second, I was trying to see if I could speak with Cassandra or Paul today, or both. They're a father and daughter. If you haven't checked out Paralandra, they have 2 full albums and some EPs. So I'm going to try to, I'll tell you what, while we're sitting here, let's figure this out, shall we? Because it's important for me to know myself, because I get a little confused. You know, the way, and I don't mean that like, I don't know what I'm doing, but it's confusing these days. Especially when you just find out about a band. You didn't find out about them in 2016 when they started. So in 2016, they have All Fall Down. All right. It's an EP. It has Alive, Heroes, Gravity, All Fall Down, and Fortunate Ones. I haven't heard that yet. I'm looking forward to it. In 2018, they had a single called Back to Life. All right. And that appeared also on the EP called Ascension. There's 5 songs on it: Back to Life, Pretty Little Liar, Killer Queen, Never Without Me, and Need to Feed. Cool cover too. Oh man, that's a cool cover. In 2019, the following year, they had a single called Love Will Win, and then followed up in 2021 by a single called Despicable. Only Human was a single in 2021. with a really, really cool cover on. I think that was on one of the t-shirts that I think that was on the t-shirt Jaron was wearing. No, Jaron is wearing Love Will Win. That's what he's wearing. I can see it here on the video we just watched. Then in, let's see, 2021, okay, Only Human. And then Only Human appeared on the full album Street Magic in 2021. 8 songs. Can't Quench the Fire, which is kick-ass. My buddy Ron told me all about that. He goes, man, listen to that. It is great. Only Human, Repeat Offender, Gypsy Rose, Despicable, For the Record, Walk Away, and Weightless. That album is fantastic. Then in 2024, you've got singles Dirty Love, Love of My Life, Look at Me Now, are all singles that, let's see, look at me, that all appear on the latest record from this year, and it's gone up to 10 songs. Look at Me Now. The album is called Body Electric. So let me see if I can find that for you. Paralandra. Let's see here. And I'll give you that. I'll give you the link to their homepage. And that'll be fantastic. All right. So here we go. There we are. And here we go. And poof. There you go. So check out Paralandra, and you won't be disappointed. It's fantastic stuff. So they have their tour dates out there. You can also check those out on the site. It looks like their next show is August 2nd, and that's going to be in West Dundee, Illinois. Then they go to Streator, Illinois. This is all kind of near where I grew up. So August 2nd and 3rd, they have those gigs in Illinois. And then they move on to Iowa, Sioux City, and Nebraska. They have DeWeese on 9th and 10th. Then the next gigs are Oregon and Oklahoma, Canyonville, Oregon. What do you know about that? On August 24th. And then on the 30th, they're in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Lamp, Missouri. I got to figure out where that is. On August 31st. Something else is going on that day, too. And then they are in Kansas in September, and Fort Lauderdale, and Satellite Beach, Florida, Pompano Beach, Florida, September, that's 14th and 15th. Then the 21st, they're in Albany, Georgia, Chickasha, Oklahoma on September 26th, Rogersville, Missouri. I got to find out where that is, on the 28th of September. And then in October, they've got more dates: Florida, Mississippi, Michigan, quite a few in Michigan. They're playing Westland, Kalkaska, and Battle Creek. Then they're down in West Chicago with Scotty Austin and Tantric. What do you know about that? So that's going to be October 27th. So they have gigs. Check them all out. I mean, they have gigs all the way through November. And I have to keep my eye out because I'd like to make another show real soon because I missed them. Oh, they're playing Springfield, Missouri, which is where they're from, on New Year's Eve at the Riff. So check that out. So, and then they're going up in February, they'll be up on the East Coast in Londonderry, New Hampshire. So check them out. So the album covers, let's see if we can find that out. Paralandra albums. All right. So sure. Let's see if we can do this real quick. Images. Let's see. We can do this. Hold tight. This cover too. I love the cover to this new album. It's really slick. Really powerful looking artwork. It's great. There we go. And there we go. Here, we'll get it pulled up here. All right. And let's drop this in here. Also, I was thinking about talking about some of my favorite albums through the years that got me where I am. And I'm wondering if I could come up with 50 of them. I know I could, because you see all the music behind me. So they're there. But I'm talking about like the early days, not stuff I've just gotten, even if it's older and I've just gotten it. That didn't do it, It wasn't about that. It's more about those albums that are things that help get us where we are, So here it is. This is the brand new album. It's called The Body Electric. Paralandra. So there you go. So check them out. Really, really cool. Like I say, it's a father-daughter thing. Paul and Cassandra Carson are the main folks in that band. And then they had a bass player and a drummer that they knew there in town who went ahead and hopped on board and got things going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold off. Here's the, here, I can show you this too, I guess. Ain't no reason why I shouldn't. Let's see if we can find a good shot. Some of these are really not so, out here on the web. It's not too, well, that one's a good one. We can do that. So think about that. Think of some of the albums that, as you were moving along in your life, when you started listening to music, think about some of the stuff that really got you through, that caught your ear and really kind of defined moments in your life. And then sometimes you can have fun thinking about an album, whether or not it is, what's the word I want to say? Whether it's seasonal, because there's albums in our lives that we listen to. Here you go. Here's the band. Paralandra. So this is all the way to the right. That's Paul Carson. And then, of course, Cassandra. And then we have our drummer and our bass player. I apologize to them for not knowing. Here's a bio. Here we go. I'll tell you what their names are. Paralandra hails from Springfield, Missouri, and formed in the summer of 2013 when Cassandra Carson and her dad, Paul Carson, began writing songs together to play a one-time event at their local county 4th of July celebration. The response was so positive that they enjoyed it so much, they decided to continue booking shows and writing songs. They recorded and released a homemade CD titled Rise Up, which sold over 1,000 copies at local shows. Shortly after, friend and local musician Sawyer Rickard joined the band on bass, and in 2015, bringing their stage sound and performance to another level. In March of 2016, they released the follow-up EP, All Fall Down, which we talked about a minute ago, which debuted #1 on the Billboard Heat Seekers chart. They soon began touring and being invited to festivals such as Rocklahoma, the SYSW, the Rock Fest, Dirt Fest, Loudon Lima, and etc. In 2018, they joined forces with Legend Recordings and released another EP, Ascension, which we talked about, which became their biggest release yet, with singles Back to Life and Killer Queen landing on the radio. Shortly after, they added local powerhouse drummer and childhood friend of Sawyer, Dakota Watson, to form the rhythm section Cassandra, Paul, and Sawyer had always dreamed of. In 2019, they recorded standalone single Love Will Win with producer, videographer Jake Jones, which gained even more radio play and placed them on numerous national tours. Hi, I'm sorry, but hold on. We need to recognize. Let me take this off. And hey, come here. Shall we say hello to my hi? Shall we say hi to my pup? Hi, come on. Say hi. There you go. How is everything? Are they doing a good job upstairs? Mm-hmm. Thank you. You look wonderful in the blue light. Yes, you do. Thank you. I love you too. Are you done? Do you want to? Okay. I'll see you. All right. So anyway, we can finish that up. It's dog time. I love having dogs on the show. I love it when my guest dogs show up on the show. Here, I'll put this back up while I'm telling you about this. The band continued to write, record, live stream, and perform wherever they could during the 2020 pandemic, and only continued to gain traction and fans from all over the world. Reaching out on a whim, they won over the attention of renowned producer-songwriter Elvis Basquet, and shortly thereafter entered the studio to record their first professionally made full-length album, Street Magic, in 2021. This release proved to be the monumental success, skyrocketing their audience with over 5 million views and streams across all platforms. Radio singles from the release alone include For the Record, Despicable, Repeat Offender, Can't Quench the Fire, and Only Human. Paralandra has since toured the country on multiple headlining runs and is constantly supporting iconic bands such as Warrant, Lita Ford, Firehouse, Last in Line, and countless others. And with no end in sight, they re-entered the studio with Elvis Basquet in 2023, and I will put this up again. And recorded their second studio album, which is due April 4th. So it came out April 4th, 2020. They plan for this release to be just as big, if not bigger, than the last, as they continue to record, write, tour, and work tirelessly to build their brand and change the direction of rock music to be a force for good in this world. Yeah, see, rock ain't dead. Rock ain't dead. Paralandra is known for their high energy while on stage. They have created an international orchestrated show for all viewers to enjoy, not only to listen to, but to watch. Each song, transition, key, tempo, and crowd interaction is carefully thought out and designed to create an entertainment experience that will never be forgotten. So there you go. Cassandra Carson, Paul Carson, and then the Sawyer Rickard and Dakota Watson. So Dakota is, let me see here if I can figure this out. Because it's, the one photo that I got up here is older. So it's a little not as easy to figure out. So, but I think that is, you got Sawyer on the end. There you go. You got Sawyer on the end, and then Dakota, and then Cassandra and Paul. So there you go. There's a rundown of Paralandra. Do yourself a favor, get out there and check out some of these tracks that are on these albums. I can't wait to check out these EPs. I got to get into those now because I deep dove through the first two albums on our road trip, and it was really, really cool. So here's a little something that was funny when, and again, I want to thank Jaron Gulino for taking the time to hang out the other night, first of all, and also for I talked to him about doing a bumper, and I was like, whenever we can get to it, whenever you can get to it is fine. And he's like, hey man, do you want to do that bumper now? And I'm like, well, yeah, that'd be great. So he was getting ready, and we did it. Now, not long ago, I did a review of the Steelheart show that was out there at Diamond Music Hall. So if you ever make it out to the Diamond Music Hall and you walk in and you see their logo and you see the T-shirt for Diamond Music Hall, you want to buy a T-shirt, that logo was designed by me. So I do have one more piece of artwork that I'm working on for them. I really do need to finish it. It's been a long while. They've been open for quite a few years now, and I started on this way back when they were opening. So it's kind of been in the can. So I'm just looking for I got to finish it up and then get it out to them. It'll be a cool secondary piece of artwork nonetheless. So, but when Jaron, we were trying to figure out what direction in the green room where we should be, and so then I got him, we spun him around to the wall where all the artists that come there do their signatures. So, so when you're looking at it, there's, you know, Angel is on there, and Burning Witches is on there. Steelheart is on there. Let's see, what's some of the other ones that were on there? La, 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 la. What? There was another one that I noticed that was on there. Well, I mean, you know, like Lynch Mob is on there, and there's been so many other ones that have been there. Zebra was there, and so all these folks all signed the wall back there. Well, when Steelheart was here, then I was hanging out back in the green room, and I told Mealy, I said, you know what, dude, if you're signing the wall, I might as well sign the wall, because I was part of their home jam band there. I was a part of the house band when they had their jams every week. So I did that for months during COVID. We started, you know, COVID hit, and then everybody was shut down, you know, pretty much in 2020. But that fall, we stepped out and we started doing their live jam. And it was great. It was a lot of fun. I met some great people doing that, including Mike Bequette, and his buddy Sean. That he came in. Sean came in later, and what a freaking voice that guy has. He became like our lead singer. I did some lead. Mike did some lead. Guy did some lead, and then Guy had to step out, and then Sean came in and just killed it. And he was a great host. He's very energetic, and just killed it. He would sing Alone by heart in its original key. The guy smokes. He's great. I mean, you know, smoked it. He was good. Still is great. He's a part of, if you ever want to see these guys live, Mike and Sean played together in a band called Foreplay. So obviously they're kind of named after the instrumental track by Boston. So if you ever want to check them out here in the St. Louis area, they were going to do some touring too, but nonetheless, I was part of that. So I'm like, I'm a part of this place. So I said, I had to sign that too, Mealy. So sure enough, I did. And then I said, we turned and got Jaron set, I'm like, you know, I said, my name's up there somewhere. And I said, I'm not sure where, but it's up there. And, and so then as I'm watching the video, I zoomed in, and sure enough, where did it go? I had it right here. There it is. So right off, right there it is, right there. You can see I circled the photo and sent it to Jaron. I'm like, what are the odds that it's right there? It was just too weird, too weird. Did I show all? Let's see what we got here. I guess I went through all of them. There's Burning Witches again. There's Laura. So that was pretty cool. And there was their set list. So yeah. But great stuff. Next time, what I do for Go Game Go sometimes is I'll have gameplay, where sometimes some of the viewers can join me as I'm playing late night Rocket League, which is really, really cool. Love doing that with our viewers, and that's a lot of fun. So sometimes we get together and do that. And then I was thinking about doing a little bit of that here. Also, I'm eager to know who all has seen the new Deadpool Wolverine movie. I'm getting ready to see that soon, and I hope it's really good. I've heard good reviews so far, you know, but some of those sources are people who usually like those kind of things, sometimes that I don't really like. They're like, yeah, it was great. And I'm like, yeah, it wasn't to me. So, but I thought this would be a great thing. This is what I wanted to do. When in my description, I talked about KISS. I will talk about this, but I don't have it set up yet. But next time I will. I think we'll do it next week. And there you go, a little KISS pinball on the original PlayStation. That should be a lot of fun. So I'll get that hooked up and running through the system so that we can do that. I've got a lot of other games I need to be playing and different systems like that too. So we'll see what we've got. We can maybe do some more of that on here too. See if I can think of, let's see if I can come up with 50 albums real quick and how do I count these? How do I do this? Should I just, I guess I'll just kind of do this and just come up with a new thing. I'll just kind of type it as I go. And we'll see what I can come up with here. So 50 albums that were a big part of my childhood growing up. Definitely would be the Raiders. It was called Indian Reservation. Is that what it? Yeah, Indian Reservation. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Reservation. Great record. My brother just found it. I found it not long ago on vinyl, and so did my oldest brother found it on vinyl. We had it on 8-track. I think I showed you the 8-track a while back. But Indian Reservation was the big title track on the record, but so many other great songs on that album. That's one of them. Another one I would probably have to say, I'm just going to throw down Barry Manilow. Any of those early albums were huge to me. Let's see. As far as rock and roll, I'm going to have to, I got to put Kiss. And I keep forgetting to number these. Kiss, Alive. First record I ever had. It's a fantastic record. Now, you got to remember, by the time I started buying records and getting records, it was, in 1976. So I didn't get a copy of Destroyer, but I'm going to have to put another Kiss album. It's definitely Rock and Roll Over. It was huge to me. Calling Dr. Love, Baby Driver, Take Me, I think, is on that album. It's fantastic. And then, well, if we're still talking about Kiss, Gene Simmons solo album, that was huge to me. That's the one, that's the one of them I bought because he was my favorite. I'm going to have to say Styx, and I'll put 2. Styx 2 was huge with me. My mother bought it, and so she was like, "Oh, this has Toccata and Fugue on it," and we're like, "Okay." So she bought it, and it had Lady on it. And then I learned about all these other songs, Earl of Roseland, and so many other all the other great songs that are on that record. So Styx 2, huge. Then we had some 8-tracks that came along later, but still early on. I mean, I was recording these because 8-tracks ended in like 82. The last Van Halen album on 8-track was Diver Down. So I was listening to these. So I would have to say Boston, obviously, was a great, but I'd say Boston only, but that's not the way it was. I'd have to say Boston, Don't Look Back, because personally, I don't know how you guys feel about this. I'm just going to say it. I dig it just as much. I think it's a shorter record, but the songs are so well produced, and it's to some it may seem a little more homogenized. Maybe it's not as brash and raw as the first record, but man, what a great bunch of songs. So I mean, it's got Used to Bad News. It's got one of the original, what I would call, I don't know if I could say original, but I will say it because it was a 70s thing. Okay, so remember in the 80s, hair metal bands came out, right? And hair metal bands had those monster ballads, right? So much so that they had a whole 2 CD set made and a commercial to promote it all over MTV, right? So, hey, we got some comments in here. Drew, how are you, man? Hey, I might be doing some late night gaming if you're available. I noticed you were out there. Barry Manilow was awesome. Have you seen Barry Manilow live, Drew? Or are you talking mainly about the music? Because yes, that was awesome, but the show was very good. I want you to know. Takana and Fugue was in Donkey Kong game. They played one on Papa Pete's show last night. That's great. That is outstanding. So yeah. So let me get back to this too. So don't look back though. I just thought it was great. But anyway, the 70s had I made a whole collection of 70s monster ballads. So think about it. All the way back when Badfinger wrote Without You and recorded it, then it became a huge hit in the early 70s by Harry Nilsson. And that's one of those songs. That is a power ballad, monster ballad, right? From back in the 70s. The one I didn't think about before, oh shoot, what was it? God, I was just talking about it not long ago. It's a 70s hit that I never would have thought of it as. I'll get back to you on it because obviously I need to make another one. Let's move on. Another great record for me, Sweet. Not only so I don't know if I can really let me see about I could put Desolation Boulevard in there. Because by the time I got it, I was still young and it was still the years when I was buying records. So Desolation Boulevard. But the one that really made its mark as far as me buying a vinyl, and okay, I may be cheating here. It may have been purchased for me. It was actually in a Kmart in Pekin, Illinois. I think that's right. Yeah. I found it in the middle of the store and with my grandparents, and they purchased it for me. I think that was 1977. So Level Headed was the name of that album because it had and has to this day, Love Is Like Oxygen is on that. But Good God was the rest of the record, not the regular. It was not the regular Sweet album. It was disco, and it was one of those. Because Kiss, I can't put Dynasty on here because I never owned it. I own it now, but I didn't own it then, and there was no way I was going to. I was done with them when that came out. I just was like, it ain't happening. What's up, Lance? Drew says, I liked his music, but my aunt used to talk about his live shows all the time. She made them sound so elaborate. Yeah, they are. And Drew, I think that's the biggest reason why I say I'm glad this was the first and only time I'm going to see him live. Because I know that there's videos out there. I've bought them for my dad, live videos out there. And I'm sure there's a lot of the show that's the same. I don't know. You've probably seen bands out there where it's the same, Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Lance. Yes, please do support. Hit that like button and let us know that you're digging what happens here, and hit the subscribe button. Tell your friends, and definitely take advantage of that subscribe button when you see stuff out there that you like from whoever else you see, like Papa Pete or me doing Go Game Go with my friend, Super Jeff. So, yeah. So, you're still young, and I said, there you go. See, I am still young. Lost Boys, thank you. What a great thing to bring up. It was released on this date in 87. Lots of great things came out in 87. It was a good year. I was dating my wife at that point in time, and so things were great. Things are great now. Flow Ride, what's up, Mikey? Ah, you. I appreciate that. The full-length version, Lounge Dweller, what's up? The full-length version of Love is Like Action is classic. It is. It is. And the single is, it is what it is. And it's what we who listened to hit radio at that time, which I did still. I didn't start listening to album-oriented rock until 1978. And I think I've mentioned that on here before when Styx put out Pieces of Eight, and they had on the hit radio station, you could hear Renegade. And then, but the song I loved, because I just bought it because it was a Styx record, right? That's why I wanted it. It had kick-ass songs on it. So Blue Collar Man, though, was my tune. And I love playing that song too. It's a fun song to play on stage. And I've sung it on stage. It's great. I still remember the one gig, maybe I've mentioned it on here before, the one gig where I was driving there and I sucked. And I'm like, do not play this song tonight. And turned out one of the best times I'd ever sung it. Lance says vinyl records are selling better than CDs nowadays. Cassettes are making comeback too. Yeah. Yeah. Whether that's a good idea. I mean, I think I'd rather choose between vinyl and CD than vinyl and a cassette. I never was a big cassette guy. I had cassettes. I did buy cassettes. I bought blank cassettes though, mostly, but I did buy some pre-recorded stuff. I fell into some pre-recorded stuff when I was a kid. Like, all right, I'm going to say it. One of my next records, I'm going to put it on the list. Number 11. See, I'm getting up there. I don't know. I could hit 50 as long as I don't yap too much. I'm going to put America. Hearts. Now, Hearts became a huge favorite of mine because I fell into a cassette version of it. That's what it was all about. I had it on cassette, and I don't know how I got it. I don't know how we ended up with it, but it was one of those cassettes that had the. Do you remember? So, trying to remember exactly how many styles of cassette case there were. So there was at least two. There's the one that you usually see, the kind of the jewel box thing, where it's that most every cassette had. I mean, and sometimes, all right, so then there's two styles of those, right? There's either the completely clear one, but then most times on the pre-recorded ones, they had either a white, they had a clear with a white back that hinged up, or whatever, blue, tan. I think my Rainbow album had a tan swing door. And then sometimes they were pink. Now, if you're checking out the Midnight Devils, they have a real colorful setup for theirs. It's really cool. So, oh yeah, Drew says some bands keep to their act. Yeah. Scorpions. I saw Scorpions in '82 for the Blackout tour with Girl School and Iron Maiden opening up. So Girl School was great. I finally started to get into them, and they're going to be a part of this whole series that I'm going to be doing. But Iron Maiden, I think I've mentioned it before. The greatest thing about that was it was Bruce Dickinson's. It was their tour for Number of the Beast. So it was Bruce's first tour, and it was oh, come on, don't do this to me. And it was their drummer's last tour. So I don't know. It's terrible. Queen of Spades is a badass tune. You got that right. Queen of Spades kicks ass. Now, Mike, what was the JY song on that album? Do you remember? Real quick. What was that? Because Queen of Spades was sung by Dennis DeYoung. America, Rainy Day is probably my favorite tune. Very cool. All right. I mean, the Hearts album, I just love every song on it. Sister Golden Hair is on there. And there's one other hit on that record. But then it's got Midnight. Um, it's got Company. Um, the what else? What was the other hit on that record? I'll have to figure that out. Figure it out. Recording shows on cassette recorder was fun for a while. Very personal sound. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Don't remember. His song on that one on Pieces of Eight was Great White Hope. Yeah. It was all, and that was one of my favorite moments in rock and roll was interviewing JY and being able to, however he took it, whether he was like, if, I'll have to listen back to my recording to see what he actually, how he responded to it. But it was really great to be able to sit across from him and, well, I'm sorry, sit across from him, to sit on the phone with him, which is basically the same, electronically sitting across from him and being able to tell him, hey man, I would look forward to every Styx album. I would look forward to hearing his song. So if you look back, he did a lot more songs back in the Wooden Nickel days. Like he had Southern Woman, Witch Wolf. Most of them were all big rockers, right? But then once he got to Equinox, he did Midnight Ride, and then he did what is it? Oh, come on now. Put Me On. He wrote that one and did that one. It was his big song there. So that was Crystal Ball. And then came Grand Illusion, and he did Miss America on there. And then Great White Hope on Pieces of Eight. And then Cornerstone, he did, I want to say he did Eddie. Yeah, he did Eddie, was his rocker on that album. Then that was 79. So then the next record, was it Paradise Theater, I guess, came after Cornerstone. Cornerstone was 79. Yeah, and I guess 81 was Paradise Theater. And he had Halfpenny, Twopenny, which Mike, Daisy Jane was the other hit. Thank you. Appreciate that. Really do. That was the opening track, I think, to the album. But do you remember, Mike, do you remember what television program Halfpenny, Twopenny was in? I may have mentioned it on the show before, but it was actually in a television series in the early 80s. That episode took place around modeling and fashion. So the episode dealt with, I think, somebody killing models. So anyway, see if anybody knows what that is. Halfpenny, Twopenny. So then the next album was Kilroy was here, and he did Heavy Metal Poisoning was on that. Then they had Century, Living on the Edge of the Century, came out in 1990. And that's when they had Glenn Burtnick. Tommy was out and Glenn Burtnick was in. And I don't remember. I'm old. Okay, so I'm older than you, and I remember. So there. But so anyway, but they had Glenn Burtnick on Edge of the Century, and he had a song, great, killer tune. I say killer tune. They all are killer tunes by JY. I just love, you know what? I don't know why I don't have a playlist of JY tunes from all those records. Well, because it wouldn't be that long. But anyway, he had a song on that album, Edge of the Century, called Home Wrecker. If you've never heard Home Wrecker, do yourself a favor. It's great. You also remember all of Sean Cassidy's TV appearances, but no, I don't. But if you've never seen Phantom of the Paradise, the first movie that Brian De Palma did, check it out because speaking of Paul, why can't I say his name now? I just hate when I do this. That's what every show of mine is about. What will Vikings do forget now? Paul Williams, he had For the Hell of It was a song in there. Not For the Halibut, that's Wet Dream, but by Kip Adada. So there, I remembered that. So, but yeah, For the Hell of It. And Sean Cassidy just did sing that on like a made-for-TV movie of the Hardy Boys, and with Lorne Greene as the vampire. So was he real or not? So anyway, but if you haven't seen Phantom of the Paradise, do yourself a favor. It's great. What a great double feature that would be. FM and Phantom of the Paradise. That'd be a lot of fun. I enjoy both of those films. Of course, we just lost Martin Mull not long ago. So tonight on Viking Stew, forgets his keys. Oh, dude, do I do that all the time? I do that all the time. All right. Should I get back to my list? I don't know if I'm going to make it. What time is it? All right. It's a little after 5. So America Hearts. I'm going to have to go with Horse Lips. It was later in the 70s, but it was one that I sought out that album because I heard the song Loneliness. So the man who built America. So I bought that when it came out. My brother was in college. How about that? I'm gonna I have to go with another Styx album. You know, one that we had that was early on, and it allowed me to really see the transition side of Styx. There was 2 of them. One of them was, and it wasn't Man of Miracles, but I do have it on 8-track back here still, and it is called, oh crap, now I can't think of it. It's got Southern Woman on it. Why can't I think of it? Mike, tell me, what is it? Oh, you got to go? All right, man. I will do just that. Heroes and Zeros in 87 by Glenn Burtnick is a cool album. Thanks, Lounge Dweller. Neil Schoen plays on some of it. Very, very cool. I will check that out. I had a chance to meet up with him. Lorne Greene just sucked all the blood out of Hop Sing before that Empire episode. Oh my God. That's terrible. Oh, shoot. Heroes and Zeros, though. Glenn Burtnick came backstage. He's like, he's not a tall individual. He's somewhere around 5'5", maybe 5'6". But he came walking back with a big old stogie, and he had a big robe on when I met him backstage on the. He kind of it was like an in-between tour. It was, I think it was probably, it's still early 90s, but it was before 96. So either 94, 95, somewhere in there. And my wife and I went backstage and hung out with them and REO for a little bit. I had a nice talk with Bruce from REO, Bruce Hall, the bass player of REO, because his parents were there. So I met up with his parents and we hung out and talked. He's such a cool guy. Such a cool guy. Let's see. What was I trying to say? Oh, The Serpent is Rising. That's it. Let's put that in there. Styx. The Serpent is Rising. Another album that meant a ton to me, and I didn't realize how rock and roll it was. I've mentioned it here on the show before. Spider-Man. Rock Reflections. The whole album title is Rock Reflections of a Superhero. But check it out. It's got some cool stuff on it. The reason I'm saying check it out is because up until about 5 years ago, I just thought it was an album that the corporation put together. But it actually has ties to an actual band. And I've mentioned this before, Crack the Sky. So check out Crack the Sky. They were very instrumental in putting that album together. So members of that band, not the whole band, but members of that band. Palumbo is one of them. And since then, I've gotten some Crack the Sky stuff. I'm working on getting them on the show. I really want to get them on the show. So, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, rock reflections of a superhero. What I'm going to do is I'll put this list together, and then I'll make a little slideshow, and then we can take a look at it on the screen, and you can see what stuff there is. Now, oh, I know what else. Edgar Winter. The Edgar Winter group. They only come out at night. I mean, let's talk about it. Free Ride, Frankenstein, all the way from those two to We All Had a Real Good Time, a beautiful song called Autumn by Dan Hartman. What a great record. Let's see. Everything else on there is great. I can't think of all the other songs. That's not good. So let's take a look. I really want to take a look. Edgar Winter. You know what? What am I doing? Just pull it up in Spotify. Even though I'm thinking about leaving Spotify. Edgar Winter. All right. So there it is. They Only Come Out at Night. Came out in 1972. Hanging Around is the first tune on it. When It Comes, Alta Mira. Come on. How did I forget that one? Free Ride, Undercover Man, Round and Round, Rock and Roll Boogie Woogie Blues, Autumn. We All Had a Real Good Time, and Frankenstein. Shit. What a great record that is. 1972. Okay, so that's 1972. Then let's take a look at Montrose. All right. Because Montrose's first album, came out the next year. Can you believe that? Ronnie Montrose would leave Edgar Winter right after that album. They Only Come Out at Night, and would join forces with Denny Carmassi, Bill Church, and Sammy Hagar to do Montrose in 1973. 1973. Okay. All right. Okay, now this is stupid. All right. So this is stupid. Did I mention that? Did I mention this is stupid? Drew, yeah. Great song. All right, so here's what's stupid. All right, what album label were Montrose on? Warner Brothers. Ted Templeman produced it, and would go on. He also produced. He was producing the Doobie Brothers at the time, and would go on to produce Van Halen and the Bullet Boys. So, and others. I'm not just limiting it to that, but those are the ones that are going to stick in your head, right? They were on Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers in 1974 released what? Do you remember? I've talked about it before. I've bitched about it before. They put out heavy metal, right? Where was, I'm not saying Montrose is heavy metal, but Delaney and Bonnie, yes. Van Morrison, Grateful Dead, these aren't heavy metal bands. Montrose is close, real freaking close. So where the hell were they? Okay, that's stupid. Just saying. It was released by Warner Brothers, and why was Montrose not on it? I don't get it. Don't get it. Edgar Winter Group. They Only Come Out at Night. I typed in, because I was talking about the songs, I typed in "They Only Frankenstein." It's like I was chatting with Jaron today, and he wrote, instead of very cool, he wrote Ray cool. That's just the way that it interpreted what he said when he was typing it. And I said, I think I like that better. You just say Ray cool instead of going very cool. You just go Ray cool, because some people do the very cool at night. They only come out at night. All right. Another, let's get back into the early days, man. I got to figure those out. Aerosmith. Oh, geez. I know what else I'm missing. Aerosmith. Big band with my brother. He had theirs, but Toys in the Attic. Rocks was big too with me. I could almost put that on this list, but it's not like Toys in the Attic. He had Get Your Wings. I don't know that he had the first album, but he had Get Your Wings. So that was huge. But that Toys in the Attic, man, when I saw that album cover, loved it, fell in love with it. What was another one? I had a lot of singles that I listened to. So back in the early days, I used to get a lot of singles. In fact, I remember trying to find FM by Steely Dan, and I didn't know what any of their song titles were. So in 1978, I think was before Asia came out, they did FM, and I was trying. No. I think I think Asia was out. Asia came out in 79, I believe. And it was around that time that I was trying to find that song FM, because I really enjoyed it. But I remember picking up a single and seeing Deacon Blue. I'm like, is this it? And I still have that single, Deacon Blue. And I was like, is this it? No, that's not it. So I never watched the movie, but I had the vinyl of the soundtrack eventually. But it's kind of weird. The other band I almost forgot to mention is Bachman Turner Overdrive. So BTO, I mean, you're talking the two albums that are huge in my memory from my childhood are BTO 2 and Not Fragile. Not Fragile. I mean, man, You Don't Have to Hide. Tramp. What is it called? And Rock is My Life, and This is Rock is My Life, and This is My Song. Is that what it is? So anyway, such good songs on those two albums, but I could listen to those constantly. Another one I remember is Whoop. That's not right. Is Rick Wakeman. We had this on 8-track and quadraphonic sound. Was Journey to the Center of the Earth. And I just bought a copy of it again on vinyl. Kind of weird, right? Center. I'm just going to write Journey to the Center. That was cool stuff. I fell in love with that. I loved it. Very theatrical, very cool. Let's see if we can figure out something out from back over here. That's another great record for me was Joe Walsh. I picked up early on when it came out. I picked up But Seriously, Folks. La, 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 la. I can't type. I don't know what the deal is with this keyboard. It messes me up. But Seriously, Folks. Great record. Over and over. The At the Station, of course, Life's Been Good is on it, and many, many other songs. So that's what else I'll do is I'll go through this and then I'll give you a track listing along with the slideshow. We'll do that because I can't wait to be doing videos some more and do some great production for you guys to go along with all this frickin' knowledge in my head. Let's see what else we have. Oh, one of the other great ones is the Babies. Head First. I remember buying it on vinyl straight away back in the day. It was 1978. Every Time I Think of You is the big hit on there. And but so many other great ones. I really want to do Mexico in my band. I'm going to be talking to my band about doing that. There's You. You're the one I want to see. I could be so happy if you don't live with me. Then they had California is on there as well. It's kind of weird. California, no, Mexico. And Head First, Every Time I Think of You. Love Don't Mean I'm Right is great on there. White Lightning is on there. So fantastic record. Let's see what we got. Oh, The Who. One of their great albums that we had by them, Quadrophenia. We had that album a long time ago. I mean, I don't know whether it's an original vinyl, but what a great one. Oh, well, and of course, Jesus Christ Superstar. I listened to that so many times. Had the book, had the lyrics, would sit there and sing to it. Jesus Christ Superstar. Let's see what else. Well, I'm going to put Toto because I bought that self-titled album when it came out, and I bought it in Arizona. We went on a family trip. We were visiting with some friends. We went to a mall. There it was. So I bought it. And I'm going to put down Hydra. It was a great follow-up album. All Us Boys. First tune I heard off of that. And remember, White Sister would later appear in a song, in a video game called what? Bloody Wolf. It's right there. Bloody Wolf for the TurboGrafx 16. They would do a version of it, and it was never commissioned. They never asked about that. What's another one from over in this area? Well, The Who. For Christmas when I was a kid, my friend, I believe my friend B got it for me, was Meaty, Beady, Big, and Bouncy. Meaty, Beady, Big, and Bouncy. It was a collection of a lot of their early tunes, like The Seeker and My Generation, and what's the one about the woman? It has Boris the Spider is on it. Magic Bus is on there. Why can't I say the one about the woman? Is anybody helping me out? Maybe. Jesus Christ Superstar blew my mind. Yes. And come on, Ian Gillan from Deep Purple and Murray Head. Murray Head was like all the way through there. It was crazy. Should write a book about all the things you forgot. I used to make kind of a joke about that. Journey to the Center of the Earth with perfect recommendation. That's awesome. Yeah, it was just great stuff. Yeah. I'm a boy. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. I'm a boy, but my mom won't admit it. Boy, I'm a boy. Yeah. What's the other one though about Pictures of Lily? That's what I'm trying to think. Pictures of Lily. Such a great song. And it's a song about a guy who gets a crush, a boy who gets a crush on a picture, right? A woman in a picture that his father shows him because he's just kind of down, and he's like, this used to make me happy. And then he's like, oh, this woman is beautiful. And he had this infatuation about her. And then then he goes to his dad. He goes, I need to meet her. And he's like, oh, come on, son. She's not alive anymore. That's during the war. So yeah, it's kind of wild, kind of a neat little interesting story about a boy falling in love in infatuation with a photo that his father showed him from his war years. So yeah, she's she's not real, man. So yeah, so let's see what we got. Meaty, beaty, big and bouncy. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, okay, wait a minute. We haven't even talked about this band yet. All right, so I'm gonna have to put Secret Treaties. All right, that's gonna have to be the first one, but then I'm gonna have to put this one in because I found this one at a J.C. Penney. So this is Bloister Cult, right? So they put out in 1970, I think it was 75, they put out Secret Treaties. ME 262 is on there. Dominance and Submission is on there. Career of Evil opens the record. It has Subhuman, or wait, I guess it's, yeah, Dominance and Submission is the one I was thinking of. ME 262, I already said, I think. And what are some of the other? KG Cretin is on there. Did I say that already? But a great record. That's one of my all-time favorite albums of theirs. Then in 76, they would put out their the Agents of Fortune album and have, dunk, 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 Don't Fear the Reaper, which that album had some great, fantastic songs on it. But as an album, it's just not one of my favorites. The second half of the album just kind of loses me a little bit. And then, bam, they put out their live album after that. The On Your Feet or On Your Knees, double live gatefold album. I got a copy of it back here, I do believe. I wonder if I do. I don't know. I'll have to find out. I guess I do have I have my list here. I could check. And we're almost out of time, folks. So should I put a hold on the list and go over it with you guys later? I mean, should we finish it up together? Let's open up my vinyl archive while we're sitting here, and we can find out if I have that album on vinyl. I know I've got it on CD. My brother had it. I think he got it I think I may have even, I'd say I bought it for him, but I probably picked it out for him. I am still missing Secret Treaties, by the way. I still don't have a copy of it. No, I don't have On Your Feet or On Your Knees. I have the Extraterrestrial live, but I do not have that other one. They've had a lot of live albums over the years, but they put out Agents of Fortune, but then Spectres. So, I mean, I could put Agents of Fortune, I really could. I might as well, because personally, I listened to that album a lot because, what is it? Vera Jiminy. I listened to that song so many times. What's it called? Vera Jiminy. That's the end of it. What is it? It's Patti Smith in the very beginning. You're a bone like a saint with a consciousness of a saint, of a snake. That's what it is. You're a bone like a saint with a consciousness of a snake. And then it starts. Ooh, that'd be a great song in my band. Ooh. Agents. All right, I'm going to put Agents. But then after that album came Secret Treaties. And I did not buy it again. Here we go. My folks bought it for me. I was in the middle of a J.C. Penney, and J.C. Penney used to have a record section. And I went in there. It's 1977, and I'm flipping through, and here's this new album with Godzilla on it. Opens the record, and it's called Spectres. And I'm like, that is freaking cool. And they're bathed in red and light. It's just such a, well, I mean, whether they had red lights, who knows? But the whole album cover has a filter of red. It's just so cool. All right, I'm going to get to number 30 here. I'm at number 30. So let's go ahead and put in number 30. Let me find something that really means something to me. I could do 1981. I could go there, but let's just hang on a second. Let's see what else we've got here. Oof. Okay, I'm having a tough time. finding it. So what do we have? What is that over there? That's Bruce Springsteen. No, that's not. Oh, okay. I'm going to do this one. The Outlaws. My buddy and I got so into this album, playing to win. When I was, oh crap. Okay, so playing to win. All right, it had "You Are the Show" is on it. Love at First Sight. Take It Any Way You Want It. Killer tunes. Freddie Salem was still in the band. Mutt Lange produced the record. See, if I wanted, I could throw down City Boy, but I didn't know about them until later on. It wasn't that much later on, but it was past my formative years. But that Outlaws album, we were listening to that when I was in they call it middle school now, but junior high, right, and into high school. My buddy and I were jamming on that record. We loved it. But now all right. I'm going to go to 31. I lied. I got to put it in here. Nazareth. I got to put in 2 Nazareth albums. All right. We got to put in Hair of the Dog. This was one of those kick-ass hard rock bluesy records. I guess that's kind of where it comes from for me, where I get this bluesy edge and sexy. I love that cool grind kind of music, because that's definitely there, but also Nazareth, it's almost like that album I just mentioned by the Outlaws, but we're going to put down Playing the Game. All right, Playing the Game is a great album by Nazareth. If you've never heard it, I've purchased it a couple of times recently, because I bought it once for my brother, and then I had to buy another one for myself because I thought I had it and I didn't. So there. But man, it's a sexy record. Not in the same sexy way as Expect No Mercy with a Frazetta painting on the cover. Oof, it's great. I love Expect No Mercy, but Hair of the Dog, Playing the Game, and Expect No Mercy, those are 3 great records by Nazareth. So I'm at 33. So we'll leave it at that, I think. Okay. Hold on. Sorry. ELO. That's going to be our last one, because what is it? It's 32, right? And I got to quit. I got so much to do today. I'm going to put Out of the Blue. If you watch the movie, is it an FM? I think it's an FM. That's what it's in. So if you watch the movie FM, I'm going to save this. If you watch the movie FM, when they go to Tower Records to see REO Speedwagon and hang out with REO Speedwagon there, outside the store, you see the big paintings that they used to do of album covers, and you'll see Out of the Blue up on the wall. So remember, when you're watching The Warriors, Foul Play movie poster on the wall when they're going into the subway, and then the big ELO album when they're going into Tower Records in FM, which I'm going to be watching that movie real soon, because I love it. I'm going to finish. Let me see. Let's do this. Viking Stews. Top. What do we call it? Inspirational. I don't know. Some people have a way with words, and others, I don't know, not have way, as Steve Martin would say. All right, let's save it. I'm also thankful today, guys, because yesterday my computer wasn't working. Well, sorry, the computer was working just fine. The programs were not. It seems I got a little overabundant with the download of my CD collection, and the system couldn't handle it. So somewhere around 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, I finally figured it out, and I had to meticulously go through and move music around from my external hard drive and the and the computer's hard drive. And then, yes, Photoshop started working again. So, yay. So we're on number 34. I won't touch it. I won't touch this. And then we'll think of other ones next week. All right. Think of some of your own. I'm going to pop back. I'm sorry. There's probably been some chats in here. 35. No, I'll stop at 34. Lounge Brother, were you a fan of the... Oh, okay. Sorry, that's going to be number 34. You just had to do it, didn't you? You just had to do it. The Gods. Ah, dude. 35. Okay, we'll the 35. All right, we'll stop. And we'll start with 35. Thank you for mentioning The Gods. I love that frickin' record. I found it as a cutout. I fell in love with it. I think I have 2 to 3 copies of it. So when I get back to doing, when I'm done with all this stuff, which should be somewhere around Thanksgiving, I'll keep you posted. I'll have some pictures for you guys if you guys would like to see some pictures. CD uploading. Yeah, it does. And I didn't know that. I thought about it. I thought this might not be good, but all you really have to do is just have your catalog on an external hard drive and have, you just have to tell you just have to tell your iTunes where to get it. Just get it out of the external hard drive. Don't get it on the hard drive. So that's all I got to do. So 1970. Okay. If you, I'm sorry. I'm going to do it. Hold on. And remember, I'm a mess. So I look silly when I get up. I got my, well, at least I'm color coordinated. So I've got my red shorts on and I've got my red Pedro text on my shirt. Now it's going to be behind this skeletal hand over here. Here, let's do this so you can see the skeletal hand, right? All right. And it is right here. I guess I have, I don't know. How many copies do I have? Do I have 3? Let's take a look. Let's see what we've got here. I just grabbed a minor stack here. All right. And I'm sorry I wasn't able to get that Kiss thing going. No, I only have 2. I do have 2 copies. I picked one up not long ago. And how much was it? It was $10. But here it is, guys. If you have never heard this record, and their other records are really good too. All right. Just to let you know, I've done a deep dive since, in recent years to find out how their other stuff is. And it's great. Look at this. If I was me going through cutout records like I did, if it was me going through cutout records and I saw this, hell yes, I'm jumping on that shit. I mean, that is freaking cool. All right. And then you flip it over. You know what? Who produced this? That's my big question here. Produced. Oh my God. Do you remember this? Do you remember this? Lounge Dweller, do you remember who produced this? Just a bunch of storage shifting in digital space. That is absolutely right. Isn't it though? I mean, there was no way I wasn't buying it. This album was produced by Don Brewer of Grand Funk. It is there you go. It is a biker rally of an album. So they have Go Away, Baby I Love You, Guaranteed, Gotta Keep Her Running. And you notice Gotta Keep a Running. Under the Table, Cross Country, Candy's Going Bad. I don't know why it says that. They say Gotta Keep a Running, and then they say Candy's Going Bad. I think it's really Candy's Gone Bad, isn't it? Isn't that really more how they say it? But I mean, look at this. It's totally biker. And look at this up here. This looks so much like the Warriors. It's a guy in a vest who's ripped, just like Michael in Warriors, which wasn't. I'm just saying his acting name. Yeah. So wow, I forgot Don Brewer. So Eric Moore, Bob Hill, Glenn Cataline, right? And Mark Chatfield. Okay, I have to go and listen to this, and we'll talk about it because there's a whole narrative at the bottom. I'll read to you later. We'll leave it at that. I mean, thank you, Lounge Dweller. You made my day on that one. That's that's one of those records. It would have taken me a minute to come up with it, but when you said it, I'm like, hell yes. I listen to that like crazy, and just I loved every minute. I still do. I still do. And their other stuff is good, and there's some of that stuff that's newer, and it's really good. Even some of their newer stuff, like Axe. Axe is the same way. They had Rock and Roll Party in the Streets. What else? Nothing. That was a hit. But they've got their other albums, including stuff that they've put out more recently. That's really really good. Candy's Going Bad is a golden earring cover. Thank you. I forgot about that. I did forget about that. Nice. Yeah, great record. The Gods. Check it out. You guys, this has been a blast. It's a blessing. I really, really appreciate you guys being here, and like and subscribe. Give it a deal, and hit the notifications. Even though the notifications sometimes happen like right before I do a show, especially these days, with everything I'm doing, I rarely get myself together with this whole remodeling going on. But I'll be remodeling the show at some point. So, take care of yourselves. Have a great evening. I'll see you again at 7:00 on Go Game Go. So if you want to pop over there and check it out, see what we're going to be doing tonight, and we'll go from there. So yeah, hope and everybody just have a good time. Look forward to seeing Paralandra on the show. I'm also working on talking with Kevin Moore, who was the original keyboard player for Dream Theater. Dream Theater, my deep dive continues. Also, when it comes to Dream Theater, make sure you check out, they put out an album of a bunch of old Majesty stuff. So do yourself a favor and check that out. See what you think about it. I liked a lot of it. There's some goofy stuff, but I liked it. Take it easy, guys.
Can you dig it?